All right, so we will close the special meeting. We'll go to future agenda items. I think we need to.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes.
Do you want to revisit, so in regard to item 5, the Yuba Sutter Economic Development District, the 2020 to 2025 Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy. So one thing that I wanted to point out is that it needs to be submitted to the EDC by July 31st. And so there's a bit of a time frame that we are up against. And so is there any desire to revisit this item? And Shannon would have to give us direction as to how we would do that, or the other options would be to schedule a special meeting, or to Yuba City could potentially be removed from the SEDS.
Diane, are you privy to, or are you able to answer the question of what the consequences are of us not accepting it?
My understanding is that, and I'm reading from the staff report, but it says an annually updated SEDS is required to qualify for U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration assistance under its Public Works Economic Adjustment and most planning programs. And so I know that to be part of a SEDS is required to be able to apply for those grant programs. And so it is important that we are part of a SEDS document.
So that's just not grants for our local EDC, but for the city itself?
For the city itself, yes.
Okay, all right. I think what we have here is an option of go ahead and accepting it with probably some probably clarification or some elaboration on your part.
And I'd be happy to. I can give a brief verbal presentation related to it.
Or we can take it upon ourselves to meet again because of the delay sometime between now and July 31st. I would be inclined to accept a presentation from Diana.
I would not.
Yeah.
Someone else's priority or crisis should not be ours. I would prefer to study the report since it does have implications. Just my point.
Yeah, we're up against a time frame, but I agree with that. We pretty much went through it already. The crisis is going to become ours because of the time. Go ahead.
Can we accept this, like agree upon it, then amend it when they give the presentation next month? Can it be amended?
No, I mean, it's a tough spot because we are expecting more. We all have a copy of it. We've all gone through it, but we haven't gotten the details. So either we put a lot of funding in jeopardy, grant funding in jeopardy, we accept it, or we go ahead and meet for a special meeting. That's our decision tonight.
Through the mayor, I think maybe I have a little bit more of an advantage because I'm on the EDC board and committee, so I get to listen and hear more of this. I would be inclined to listen to Diana's presentation and invite EDC for future another presentation if we wanted to.
In the form of a special meeting, or just when they can get here, just so we can go over it in detail after accepting it?
After accepting without no special meeting.
Okay.
To move it along through the mayor, I would be happy to abstain. I'm not going to.
That's fine.
On the spot, and you know, not that I don't trust her presentation. It's just I haven't seen the document.
Okay.
I don't feel comfortable voting on something I have not read.
That's fine. The SEDS is an informational document, correct? Or stats, there's nothing binding.
Right, and
right.
So Ben and I both participated in review of the document, and the projects that are in there for Yuba City are somewhat generic in nature to be able to maximize our opportunities as much as possible related to infrastructure expansion, things like that. And so we tried to make sure that it was very broad so that we would be eligible for a lot of different projects. The document itself, you know, has a lot of really good elements in terms of goals, a vision statement, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats analysis, and was really done through a community-driven effort, including all of the agencies to get feedback and input related to the document. And I think the misunderstanding tonight was that Ms. Stranix thought that the staff report and then having the attached document was sufficient to cover the item, and so was not anticipating doing a full presentation.
Yes, I believe that's accurate. It's my interpretation as well.
And then the other thing is that it's accepting, not approving the document, it's accepting the document.
Receiving it so we can move forward. Okay. Any other commentary before we move on? All right, Dinah, if you don't mind.
Okay. So, the contents of, this is the actual document itself. And the contents of the document, it covers a regional overview, economic development vision statement, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, disaster and economic recovery and resiliency, the strategic plan, and then evaluation framework. So with that said, the vision is to foster a vibrant, prosperous, and growing Yuba Sutter region through exceptional leadership and involvement of the community. The top 3 competitive strengths were cost of living, geographic location, and natural resources. The top 3 competitive weaknesses are career job opportunities, unskilled labor force, and infrastructure. The top 3 actions to better the region for residents include improve roads and connectivity, build affordable housing, develop more quality of life amenities, and the top 3 actions to better the region for businesses is to create a pro-business climate, focus on business attraction, and improve infrastructure. The 4 top priorities include innovation and economic development, workforce and education, infrastructure, and quality of life and place. So, the 4 goals of the Yuba Sutter region include create and maintain a competitive region through innovation and economic development. And so with that, there are 3 tactics: attract more industries to the region, boost entrepreneurial development, and maintain, promote, and expand regional business. Goal 2 is to develop, retain, and attract talent. The 3 tactics for that include increased collaboration between educational institutions, improve understanding of all ethnic cultures that live and work within or visit the region, create awareness of the value of lifelong learning. The 3rd goal is to improve and modernize infrastructure. Tactic 1 is to modernize the region's infrastructure to meet future demand and respond to changing business needs. Develop and improve alternative, multimodal, and intramodal distribution infrastructure. And promote transit planning to move people throughout the region and housing development. And then the 4th goal is to foster overall quality of life and place. So tactic 1 is to promote and market for continued investment in regional amenities, promote and support collaboration and shared resources for regional public safety, and promote the role of the Yuba Sutter Economic Development District. And so within each of these tactics, they have very specific goals in terms of how to address those. They also note some evaluation framework for each of those goals. And so, for instance, under the create and maintain a competitive region through economic development, they would like to see growth of complementary and supportive businesses to improve industry diversification, increase in number of startups, increase in technical assistance, and access to capital and educational opportunities for businesses. And then, for instance, on the improve and modernize infrastructure, they have progress of regional public works projects and expected impacts, increase in infrastructure funding and federal project investments for water, wastewater, transportation, broadband, et cetera, increased regional business growth resulting from improved infrastructure, and improved housing and affordable housing accessibility in alignment with future growth. And so with that, this document also has appendices in terms of a data profile, the SWOT analysis and online survey results, agriculture economic profile, the specific public works projects, and then SEDS regional resolutions. And so that provides a really quick and brief overview of the document. In addition, the staff report notes the different individuals that participated in the process, and then provides a little bit more information related to the SEDS. So in a very quick presentation, that's a summary.
All right. Any public comment by chance?
Yes. One was from Thomas Burns, and he said, "Thank you, Mark, not like Nancy Pelosi." And then the second.
Thank you, Mark, what?
His comment on abstaining, he said he's unlike Nancy Pelosi.
Oh.
And then the other comment is I would like to see the EDC report findings combined with the proposal by GSEC for a total view of opportunities to attract businesses and develop our local economy. And I didn't know GSEC merged with SACTO about 5 years ago. So I would want to know how, hang on, how SACTO didn't work for us and how GSEC enhances our economic development. And that's from Karen Hess.
Okay. Both, if Tom and you say Karen?
Yes.
If you're watching, those documents are publicly available, I'm sure. If they would like to review those. If they can't find them, give me a call and we'll set it up. It's no problem. All right, so now we have a choice to accept. We have one abstention, which is fine. Accept it and move forward, and then we can invite our CEO of EDC to come back and have a chat.
Through the mayor.
Yes, sir.
Before we get to a motion
All right.
or anything, I've got a couple of questions. First of all, clarity, because the staff recommendation is to approve the report, and I agree with the vice mayor. We're not going to approve something that we've had no time to go through and no presentation. So is it approve or is it accept? Because there's a huge difference between those two words.
It's my understanding that it was to accept. Also, I would note that the alternative says do not accept the Yuba Sutter Economic Development SEDS report.
Yeah, I know they kind of
They do.
Contradict each other. So is that a question for Shannon? Does he know if we need to accept it or approve it?
Yes, thank you very much, Councilmember Shaw. The resolution before you this evening says that the City Council adopts the report and authorizes its submittal. If that is a concern for the Council, you can change that resolution language to hereby accept the report and authorizes its submittal.
All right, thank you. And I will go back to Mr. Burns' comment because really he nailed it, not the part about you, Vice Mayor, but when he was talking about GSEC and the EDC. These are broad strokes, but as GSEC says, you know, they're getting these hits to come in. And how are we getting plugged into that pipeline? Because when you listen to the two presentations over the years, there seems to be this disconnect that we're really not working as solidly as we have. GSEC is getting the interest in, but then even Barry alluded to the fact tonight that there wasn't this connectivity to our EDC. So how do we get those three businesses that are in the pipeline right now? I mean, this is great. This is wonderful. This is, you know, our selling pitch and what we're going to do. But really, where does rubber meet the road? What are we doing with our EDC to get access to those three that are looking at the area? And that's really part of what I was hoping for tonight in the whole presentation. So I can't tell you how, I mean, it's unfortunate and I'm disappointed because I was really looking forward to those tying together because there is a disconnect. But we will have to decide as a council because if we are simply going to accept this report, I can accept something that I have no control over. But if we are going to approve something, then I will remove myself as well because this has not been vetted through. And the fact that we didn't get a presentation and we got it just a few days ago, we should have had this weeks ago and should have had a presentation. So I will leave that to the council. If we're comfortable with accept, I can accept something. I'm not going to approve it.
I feel the same way. And I don't know if it's even our, I mean, the numbers are the numbers. How long would it take us to dig down to verify every number to approve it, right? So I think accepting is the appropriate word. And Shannon, if you can hear me, I think it would be appropriate to amend the resolution to reflect that name, that word change.
Yes, this is exactly right. You can just make a motion to approve the resolution and substitute the word accept for the word approving.
Okay.
And does that affect, through the mayor?
Yeah.
Does accept or approve affect the end game here, which is the eligibility for the grants?
I don't have that information. That hasn't been provided to me from the applicant.
Sounds to me like they're using them interchangeably.
I believe that they did have a sample resolution. I believe this is the agenda item that did, and they used the word approve in their sample resolution. So we are changing it at least a bit from what it was, but frankly, between you and me, they're not likely to read it too closely whenever they get these sorts of resolutions. And if it is a concern, it might be an option for the council to issue a clarifying resolution at a later date if it becomes an issue.
Through the mayor, I'm looking at the resolution, and I can see where our city attorney is speaking of that. I have no, I can work with accept the resolution to move this forward. I think that this is a document required at the federal level for some sort of demonstration that we as a council have accepted this document. I can understand Vice Mayor and Councilman Shaw without reading a document and feeling not completely, prepared to make that decision, and I respect that, and I understand that. I do agree, though, that accepting this document will help us with future infrastructure needs. And your questions, Councilman Shaw, with the relationship between Greater Sacramento and EDC, there is a room for better coordination, better partnerships. I do agree with you on that. I would be okay with the word accept at this point to move this along for us to be able to qualify for funding. And if there's needed to modify or amend the resolution, Shannon, you could guide with that process, right?
Yes.
Okay.
With that being said, through the mayor, I would move to adopt a resolution to accept the 2020 through 2025 Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy Report and authorize its submittal to the United States Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration.
I'll second.
All right. We have a first and second to accept the SEDS. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed and abstentions?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. Appreciate that.